Tonight, on Most Shocking, a pair of bumbling bandits make a crashing getaway. Then, bottle-throwing robbers launch an attack on cops, but get taken down when they run out of gas. But first, thieves try to heist an ATM, but end up stranded on a pile of cash. And cops spot an exhibitionist in the middle of a window-bashing rampage. Plus, an amateur arsonist sets fire to himself. This is not a movie.
You better stay right there, man.
Everything you're about to see is real. Brace yourself.
Oh, get it!
This is Most Shocking, Dumbest Criminals.
Dallas, Texas. Blundering crooks attempt a mini-mart break-in. When they realize they can't simply kick down a steel-reinforced security door, they use their car as a bulldozer. The thieves burst through the double doors. They're about to make a lot of effort for a nicotine fix. One of them grabs a cigarette display and bolts, while his buddy takes a header over the counter. The hard fall doesn't knock any sense into the suspect. By the time he covers his face, the cameras have already captured him. He then takes his sweet time, stuffing his shorts with smokes. A bag would be handy, but the thick-headed thief doesn't notice them a few feet away. So he sticks with his shorts. But the guy behind the counter isn't in a hurry. Robbing a joint with one hand is tough, especially when you're wearing your shirt as a makeshift mask. When the alarm sounds, the hoodlum hurls himself over the counter. His arms full of swiped cigarettes, the suspect lands on his head again. 2 steps to his right, and he could have walked around the counter. The robber loses his loot on the floor. Time ticks away. His friend finally forces him to leave. Hopefully, these cigarette-stealing buttheads can kick their habit. Otherwise, their next nicotine fix may come behind bars. Seattle, Washington. A home burglary is about to take place in broad daylight. The intruder sneaks in from the back alley. He makes off with a baby stroller. But that's not all. He spots a few other things he wants from the back porch. With everything he steals, this burglar gets bolder, and the items get bigger. Little does he know his every move is being recorded by owner Todd Heckle, who's sitting at home right now. Todd installed the camera after a string of robberies in the area.
I had this vision that people were sort of sleuthing around in the dark every night up and down these alleys, and put this webcam in to see, if I could verify that.
Like an incurable steal-aholic, this guy just doesn't know when to quit. He also doesn't know the homeowner is inside and is about to catch him in the act.
As I came up the stairs, I could see he was holding 2 wrought iron chairs, that most of the stuff on our deck was gone. I opened one of the doors. I said, "Hey, what are you doing? Stop."
The thief makes a break for it, and Todd chases after him.
And once I got out into our alley, I saw there was another guy, and all of our stuff was actually in the alley, and they were in the process of loading it into their pickup truck.
The partners in crime speed away from the scene.
And I actually ran out after the truck again, just trying to grab something. All my stuff was sitting right there. And when I realized, obviously, I wasn't going to do that, I just stopped and memorized the license plate.
Caught on tape by his victim, cops are certain it won't be hard to outsmart this dumb daytime plunderer.
One of the things I'd like to tell them is, hey, get a job, earn your own money, and pay for the things you want. You know, don't just take them off somebody's deck.
Prairie Village, Kansas. After-hours surveillance cameras capture this van circling the gas pumps. 2 men in ski masks jump out. Their accomplice in the driver's seat backs up to the storefront and floors it. The van smashes through the glass window and slams into the ATM machine. But the stubborn machine doesn't go down. They give it another shot and mow down the ATM. It pops open like a piñata. But instead of simply scooping up the cash, the men decide they want the whole machine. So the clueless cash thieves try one more time. But now there's a problem. The ATM wedges under the tires and the van is stuck. But even better, one of the suspects is now trapped. He takes a moment to vent his frustration on the hobbled getaway vehicle before making an escape. The marooned marauders are forced to bail on foot. Moments later, the police arrive. The suspects are gone, but they've left a crucial piece of evidence: the van and its license plates. Police should have no trouble tracking down this ingenious gang of smash and grabbers after this bungling break-in went bust. Montevideo, Uruguay. A bizarre and illegal sight. A buck-naked guy lost and bearing it all on city streets. He asks for directions from a cop. It's a dumb move. The officer responds calmly to the peeled pedestrian. He tries blocking his way, but the bearskin stroller insists on continuing his idiotic journey. Then, the situation escalates. A nude walk turns into a raw battle. The free spirit gets violent, shoving the cop into a doorway. A bystander jumps in to help, but the sidewalk streaker won't go quietly. Finally, he's double-teamed and put in cuffs. The birthday-suited guy lands a new outfit, a prison-issue jumpsuit.
Coming up, a pair of dim-witted pickpocketers get caught by cameras and cops. Then, a milk crate-wearing outlaw goes undercover and tries knocking over a mini-mart. Plus, a hold-up man and his little pistol gets outgunned by a fully loaded clerk. Next on Most Shocking, Dumbest Criminals.
Pelham, Georgia. A convenience store robber inspires one of the strangest 911 calls of all time.
He just came here with a crate on his head. A what on his head? He had a milk crate on his head. A milk crate? Yeah.
That's right, packing a BB pistol and his head in a box. Marty Simpson orders the clerk to empty the register.
The funny thing about it is that while he was there robbing her, he actually lifted up the milk crate and revealed his face to the camera.
He also bungles his escape, ditching his fancy disguise and gun outside the store in front of multiple witnesses.
Several people outside were able to describe his vehicle and get a clothing description on him as well.
The details are good enough to corral this moronic milkman within 2 hours. Apparently, he should have read his mask before he wore it.
This is one of the stupidest things that I've ever seen in my life.
He just came here with a crate on his head. A what on his head? He had a milk crate on his head. A milk crate? Yeah.
London, England. Security cameras catch pickpockets scouting potential victims in the crowded theater district. A woman's left her handbag open. It's too inviting and too easy to pass up. The thieving duo goes for the distraction and the unseen grab. He comes up empty-handed. When the potential victim moves on, the pickpockets scan the crowd for other marks. The pair aren't very observant, because what they don't realize is security cameras are capturing their every move. Cops track the men as they try to leave the scene and guide plainclothes police in to make the arrest. Police officers take one suspect down hard. The other runs for it. The cameras follow as the unwitting thief runs right into oncoming cops. The pickpockets assumed this spot was theirs for the taking, but they were the easy pickings for police. Las Vegas, Nevada. A man walks into a cash checking business and casually approaches the teller. He takes an application, but this guy is looking to take much more. He pulls a tiny hand pistol on the clerk, Paul Smith.
He says, back up. At that point, I reached under my desk, pulled out my handgun, and told him, no, you back up.
The man jumps back. He knows when he's been outgunned. Smith's weapon is more than twice the size of the crook's. Now, instead of making demands, he's pleading for his life. Smith orders him to stay down, but the terrified thief bolts. The quick escape doesn't rattle the loan officer.
He looked pretty terrorized. I don't think I was traumatized by it as much as he was.
Police show up moments later. Though the suspect got away, he left a key piece of evidence, his own gun.
In this industry, you have to expect that eventually somebody will take a shot at your money. That's why it keeps Mr. Smith and Mr. Wesson handy.
Paul Smith knows that when it comes to protecting yourself, bigger is better.
Coming up, a parking lot prank goes up in smoke. Then, a robber's greasy shortcut becomes a sticky situation. And later, a slow-witted security guard tries to rip off his own employer. That's next on Most Shocking, Dumbest Criminals.
Washington, D.C. A rowdy group of high schoolers tear it up on a late-night binge.
No rules, bitch ass.
The boys burn rubber in an apartment store parking lot. But when that gets old, they decide to burn something else. An unsuspecting bystander's car.
They're gonna park right next to him and throw the firework at him.
The drive-by turns into an unintentional blow-up. The goons get their comeuppance when the fireworks explode in their own car. High on their adrenaline rush,
Look at Fred smoking.
the small-time arsonists don't realize that they could have gone up in flames.
This went off like right in the middle of the car. There's pieces of firework everywhere.
Luckily, no one is injured. At least, not seriously.
It burned my ass! All right, I'm getting out of here.
Though their actions were illegal, in the end, there was no need to call in the heat. They brought it themselves.
It burned my ass!
Sunrise, Florida. Surveillance cameras capture a woman browsing in a local supermarket. But her grocery run is about to take a dive. The woman slips in a puddle of olive oil and tumbles to the floor. She yelps in pain. A clerk and customer come to her aid. The fallen shopper is in too much agony to stand up. This could be an opportunity for a lawsuit, if any of it were actually real. The devious woman has staged the entire incident so she can cash in on a settlement. The one glaring oversight in her plan? The store's brand new $30,000 surveillance system. Rewinding a few minutes before the accident reveals all. The wily woman unscrews a bottle of olive oil and spills a puddle on the floor. By the time she circles back around the aisle and takes her bogus fall, the security cameras have captured everything. Now that her slip is showing, the only thing this lady ends up with is a big bruise and a tape full of evidence. Placer County, California.
Come back inside, he's almost out!
A crook is caught in a chimney. At 5'4" and 115 pounds, this pint-sized prowler thought he could squeeze his way down to rob the house.
You want to search him instant he comes out. You want to check him for weapons.
Firefighters are forced to break through the wall and finally pull the Santa-style suspect free.
Great job. Okay, he's out, Joey. Okay. You got any weapons on you, dude? I don't know.
But he's not the only dumb criminal on his way to jail. Toledo, Ohio. This thief tried to shimmy down a restaurant grill vent. His half-baked plan had him feeling the heat. The 6'2" man was no match for the small, greasy duct. Getting the suspect out is no easy task. Firemen saw and drilled their way through the metal. 2 hours later, the intruder is pulled out. These felons are found guilty of their crimes and very bad judgment. Lauderdale Lakes, Florida. It's closing time at Bare Feet Shoes. But this gun-toting customer wants to make a last-minute transaction. Sales clerk Munchana Augustin is taken completely by surprise.
I was about to close my register, and he get in and say, "Give me all the money and don't move."
But this is no ordinary robber. He's Alfonso Allen, the store's own security guard, in disguise.
He had his face with a red shirt. You couldn't see anything, not even his eyes.
The masked desperado knows he's on camera and doesn't care. He brazenly grabs the cash, confident no one here can stop him.
He knows that we all girls, teen, working there, and there's only 2 little boys that don't really, not that strong.
The robber runs from the store and speeds off in his getaway car. But there's one little flaw to his plan. Eyewitnesses recognize Allen's car. Allen is later arrested, and his co-workers are shocked.
I thought he was a good man. He was watching after us because he knew that it's a lot of girls working in there. Now I can say I'm not gonna trust nobody.
This security guard thought he was a master bandit. Turns out he's a master bungler.
Coming up, a traffic-dodging dolt dukes it out with cops and fails. Then, a harebrained criminal tries defying gravity.
You like Billy Jones.
And the long arm of the law.
Get back over here!
But first, a pyromaniac torches a convenience store and gets burned. Stay tuned for most shocking, dumbest criminals.
Rome, Georgia. Cameras catch a thug making a smashing entrance. The goon is really an arsonist, and not a very smart one. As he douses the mini-mart with lighter fluid, he doesn't realize he's creating a flammable fume. Vapors thicken even as he takes time to splash the security camera. Then, with the strike of a match, the store ignites like a tinderbox. 2,000-degree flames engulf the perp, turning him into a blistering fireball. He hot-foots it out the door. The store is toast, and everything inside is destroyed, except the surveillance footage, which is safe in another room. The fire starter is at large, but police know they'll get their man sooner or later at the local burn ward. Buenos Aires, Argentina. This is Ramon. He's missing a few brain cells. He wanders down a busy street into oncoming traffic. A passing pickup nearly plows him down. Watching in horror, a good Samaritan calls police. She runs over and leads the addled man to safety. To the woman's relief, a policeman arrives. As the officer calls for backup, Ramon decides the smart thing to do is pick a fight with him. A passerby jumps in to help. The struggle moves dangerously close to speeding traffic. Most people would realize they're in a losing battle. But not Ramon. He attacks the officer again. Tripped up by his own momentum, Ramon takes a nosedive on the pavement. Now he's down for the count. As the officer cuffs him, the woman berates him to smarten up. After all, if there's one thing this traffic dodging, cop fighting does need, it's some common sense. The Bronx, New York. The fate of Francisco Carrera Jr. is dangling from the 23rd floor of his apartment building. What appears to be a suicide attempt is actually a feeble-minded escape plan. After assaulting his father, Carrera is trying to get away, but in full view of the cops.
There was police on top on the 24th floor. There was police then in the 22nd floor when he tried to scale down to the 22nd floor. And no matter where he would have gone, they would have been there to catch him.
Frozen in fear, Carrera clings to the wall, hoping the police will lose patience and leave, while his neighbors react in horror.
He might really jump.
The haphazard halfwit takes a step down. In the slowest getaway in NYPD history.
They even threw a rope out to see if he would grab it, but he didn't do that. Look, he's going down to the next one.
The slippery ledge is hard to grip. Feeling insecure, Carrera returns to his original toehold and maps out his next move.
There was a race against the clock, because how long can a person hang out there on a ledge of a building?
But Carrera doesn't have a next move. He sticks to his original strategy, just hanging on and hoping for the best. Officers aren't as patient. They break the iron grate and grab the assailant, who surrenders willingly. Carrera is placed under arrest. He couldn't escape the law, or the law of gravity.
When it was all over, I honestly felt relieved. I was so glad that they were able to get this man down from there, because really, I thought he wasn't going to make it. I thought that he was going to fall.
Coming up, a panty-wearing, shovel-wielding repeat offender smashes his way back into jail. Then, a small-time crook takes on a tough clerk and gets the tables turned. Plus, cops chase a gang-banging bad boy right back home and into his mother's arms. Next on Most Shocking, Dumbest Criminals.
Los Angeles, California. A gang member leads police on a wild chase through the city. He's got 2 passengers. They're all armed and dangerous. The driver's reckless moves turn his car into a lethal weapon. But he's also clueless enough to think that he can elude a fleet of police cruisers. He speeds through neighborhoods and terrorizes other drivers. Blasting through the streets, he nearly clips a motorcyclist. Cops stay close. Feeling the heat, the gangster panics and heads for familiar turf. A bystander at the corner tries to stop the chase, but it rolls right past her onto the sidewalk. Turns out that's not just any woman. It's his mom. The suspect runs for cover, not to a safe house, but his own house. Police fan out, expecting him to run out the back. Other officers take the 2 passengers into custody, but the driver is refusing to surrender. That's when his mom takes action. She scolds her wayward son and leads him out of the house. She shields him from potential gunfire. When police step in for the takedown, she makes sure the cops handle her baby boy with care. He's a dangerous criminal who put an entire city at risk. But he's also a mama's boy. And that may have saved his life. St. Petersburg, Florida. A quiet late night at this local convenience store. No one's around. It's the perfect condition for a robbery. But this criminal's plans for a smooth transaction are thwarted by the language barrier. The store clerk acts like he doesn't speak English, and this crook's lack of communication skills isn't helping. He can only think to repeat himself. The clerk continues to play dumb, and the gunman isn't any smarter. He randomly presses buttons on the register, but that doesn't work either. After 2 minutes of getting nowhere,
Open the wrist. Open it now.
This dimwit comes up with another mindless idea. Yank the register from the wall. In all, the late-night robber gets away with a little over $200. While the police are sure to find him, the fact that he got away is just plain dumb luck. But a mini-mart isn't the only place for bungled burglaries. North Richland Hills, Texas, 3 a.m. A pair of burglars has the bright idea to knock over a spy store. They break the glass panel door and sneak inside. They don't seem to realize that a store selling closed-circuit TV cameras most likely uses them. In fact, no less than 17 cameras capture the bandits looting thousands of dollars in merchandise. Hollywood movies don't have as many angles. Little wonder that hours later, These two camera hogs get their close-up on the wanted list. Cardiff, Wales. Nothing strange here. Andrew Roxbury's just out for an evening stroll. In his underwear. With a shovel. Bashing in storefront windows. Fashion boutiques and fast food restaurants fall prey to Roxbury's mighty shovel. Assuming he doesn't want to be arrested, this isn't the best way to avoid attention. Semi-naked with a large gardening tool. When police arrive, he surrenders immediately. It's a familiar scenario for everyone involved. Andrew Roxbury has a few prior burglary offenses. 217 to be exact. But maybe this time, multiple charges of criminal damage will make this attention-grabbing offender reform his ways. Beach Island, South Carolina. Cashier Donna Letbetter notices a last-minute customer.
I had just finished sweeping, and this gentleman came in, and he looked a little ragged under the weather. Walked up to the counter, and I asked him what I could do for him.
Donna gets a little surprised.
We pulled out this small little knife, and I just could not believe that he was going to try to commit a robbery with something that was 2-3 inches long.
The man's tiny weapon doesn't faze the clerk.
We just kind of badgered back and forth, him stating for me to give him my money, and I kept telling him I didn't have any. He wasn't getting it.
The fiery clerk has had enough.
Get out of here, right now.
She pulls the only weapon she has.
You better get your ass out.
My choice of weapon was the broom. It probably wasn't the best, but it's all I had. I made good use of it.
The browbeaten thief is swept from the store.
You better get your ass out.
But he vows to return. Police capture the suspect the next day. As for Donna, she's just grateful for the man's deficiencies.
I mean, how smart can you be to go in and rob somebody with something that's not as long as your finger?
Get out of here. You better get your ass out.
Coming up, half-wit bank robbers bomb cops with beer bottles, but the attack ends when they run out of gas. That's up next on Most Shocking, Dumbest Criminals.
Burbank, California. A bank robber and his gang make a blistering freeway getaway.
That black SUV is continuing northbound at a very high speed.
The driver is not only erratic,
You can see the cars rocking back and forth.
he's also drunk.
He's across all the lanes on the 5 freeway.
And he's delusional enough to think he can outrun a brigade of cop cars. The authorities suspect the renegades are armed. They're about to discover they're right. A police helicopter joins the chase as the driver takes the off-ramp. Then,
Whoa, look at this.
A passenger leans out of the vehicle.
Look at the back window.
The officers brace themselves for gunshots. But the man fires something else at the cruiser. A beer bottle. The boozer launches an arsenal of beer and evidence at the officer. Cops keep their distance, waiting for the liquid ammo to run out.
Another bottle. Look at him out the window, throwing it at the officers.
The showboating rebels are out of juice, but they're not out of dumb ideas. They go pedal to the metal to escape, barreling down the wrong side of the road.
This is extremely dangerous.
And nearly destroying a small compact.
No, almost. I think they hit a car coming through that intersection.
The SUV speeds towards the intersection and comes within inches of T-boning an unsuspecting driver.
No, almost. I think they hit a car coming through that intersection.
Police fall back, hoping that some distance will calm the rowdy delinquents.
Officers really pulling back right now and doing what they can to give this guy a little bit of room.
It doesn't work. The bottle-tossing passenger leans out of the window and taunts police while talking on his cell phone. Then, their beer run comes to an unexpected end.
Out of gas, out of gas.
The gas-guzzling SUV is bone dry. The simple-minded crooks left the scene of the crime with only half a tank. The beer-guzzling numbskulls surrender without a fight. These hellraisers not only thought they could run from the law, they openly defied it. But their reckless drinking leaves them eating concrete in cups.
High on adrenaline and low on IQ. Dumb criminals aren't just a menace to society. They usually end up being their own worst enemy.
This is extreme right here. Hey, get on the ground! What's he gonna do when they come for you? Bad boys, what's he gonna do? I ain't got nothing. Take my word and just let me go. Stop!